Anybody who's a billionaire who thinks they could just do it all over again is lying their ass off.
Let me prove this to you by telling you a story which you have 100% never heard of. I read it in this book, Facebook, The Inside Story. Back in 1997, there was a guy by the name of Andrew Weinrich. He had created a unique concept which he called 6 degrees. Basically, the concept said that anyone on the planet is just 6 connections away from meeting each other. So if everyone had a public list of friends, people would be able to connect with each other. Sounds familiar? Andrew ran with this idea for 2 years, got like 3.5 million people on this website, but it was too clunky and too early for its time. Just before the dot-com crash, Andrew cashed out to a company named YouthStream Media Networks for $125 million. Now that purchase including a patent pending item called method and apparatus for constructing a networking database, basically a social networking patent. Back then, this patent was probably useless. These guys would have just tossed it in a corner and not thought about it. Mark Zuckerberg, by the way, was just 12 years old back then. Now this is where the story gets very interesting, so I'll read directly from the book. The 6-degree patent was going up for auction. YouthStream, which had shut down its acquisition 6 degrees in 2000, now understood the real power of their purchase. That news reached Reid Hoffman. That is the founder of LinkedIn, by the way. They were selling off that patent, and the holder of that patent would have had a virtual boot on the neck of any other social media company that was to start in the 2000s. So obviously, Reid Hoffman and others he was in cahoots with panicked. Now this is where it gets funny. Now you're watching this video on Instagram, so probably Reid Hoffman and others, they won the auction, right? Not really. Yahoo had bid the highest in the auction for that patent. But Yahoo being Yahoo took a 30-day due diligence pause. That without due diligence, we are not going to wire the money to YouthStream Media. That was concerning for them. And that is when Reid Hoffman and others, they just swooped in with cash, $700,000 for the patents. So rather than waiting for the highest bidders, YouthStream Media just sold it to them. PR low, keep the patents. Now, read it again, Hoffman agreed that the patent should not be used for generating cash, but to protect the then tender ecosystem for social networking. So everything we are enjoying today on social media, Instagram, it is based on that one swoop purchase, call it a lucky day. Ab is sab mein, the ultimate lucky winner would be Mark Zuckerberg. Without paying a penny, he wound up not ever having to defend against the patent that might have extinguished his young company, which was at that time almost non-existent. He was still in his dorm room. Now, why did I share this story with you? Mark Zuckerberg would have become a billionaire either way. He's a smart guy, created Facebook. But would Facebook have been that successful had this small factor of luck not been there? Would any of the billionaires out there been as successful as they were had there not been certain circumstances which were working in their favor and they just cashed it out spectacularly? You can make a lot of money. You can make millions and millions with just doing the legwork, but making billions, creating that legacy and that empire, that requires luck. Like you need luck in your corner. And I think Mark Cuban has been totally correct when he says this.
Because, if the internet stock market hadn't just taken off when we were starting AudioNet, you wouldn't even know who I was.